All right, welcome. We are COMP1115, Game Programming 1 in the fall 2025 semester at Georgian, and it's week 1, part 1 of our broadcast and recording together. And I am Tom. I'll be your instructor for this semester. My background, like it says, is in software engineering. I've been coding for many years. I've been teaching for about, I would say 15 years now. It says 2011, but it was at the beginning, or at the end of 2010. So about 15 years, and I'm a gamer. I've been gaming most of my life, right? So I played in the arcades, and I'm an old guy, I have to say that too. I've played Dungeons and Dragons since this first edition, and before that, when it was chainmail. I play Warhammer 40K fairly regularly, and it's not outmatched, it's unmatched. That is my latest obsession. Because it's the latest obsession. And I'm also making a tabletop role-playing game, Bloodstar Plasmagoria, which is kind of the latest thing we've been doing with my friends over the last 3 years, but it's been in the making for about 30. All right, so that's what I'm doing. I'm a programmer. I've been programming since I was very small. 10 years old, I was doing making Space Invaders in a computer camp. We're using assembly language, right? So it's been a long time since then. But let's just say a lot of decades have passed since then, and I love to code, I like to game, and I like to make games. I'm going to start with our land acknowledgement. Georgian College acknowledges that all campuses are situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe people. The Anishinaabe include the Odawa, Ojibwe, and the Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. Georgian College is dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture, and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people. I have this slide here, and I've read it for today. I'm not going to read it again, but it's going to be there. I am committed to reconciliation, but I know it takes time to read these things, and even though it takes a minute, I've put it up there because I think we should all respect it. It's also part of your Blackboard shell. I'm just not going to read it again. So it's like the first time, and maybe the last time that I'll read it for the semester. What's this course about? This course is about game programming, but it's also a fundamental course about C#. Okay, who's programmed before in their life? Anybody? That's awesome. You guys have better statistics than the last class. How about that one? Okay. If you've programmed before, I apologize. This is going to be a little bit slow for you, okay, today. I'm going to assume you've never programmed a day in your life, right? You don't know anything about programming, and I'm going to start really super slow. Okay. However, even if you have programming, you still are probably going to get something out of today because we're going to do Git and GitHub. And Git and GitHub, for the most part, a lot of you haven't done to a really good degree, if you will. Most of you. Some people may have. The first half, we're just going to focus on C# fundamentals. That's what we're going to do with variables and data types and all that stuff. And the second half, we're going to use Windows Forms, which is a user interface where we're going to build an app slowly. So we're actually going to build stuff from the beginning all the way to the end, and I'll talk about that in a second. I do use a book as a reference, but it's absolutely optional to get it because I use loose information from there. It's not exactly what's in there, and I change a lot of the stuff that's in there for you. I think it's a good book because it's the player's guide. When I saw the C# player's guide, I was like, yeah, this is a good book. If you can get it, that's pretty cool. It's not in our library, but it is available online. You can buy it. It's not that expensive, but completely optional, all right, for this course. One thing I want to say, which is, I'm just going to digress for a second, is this morning didn't work. And I mean that, like this morning's lesson, this class, everything else, I worked for the first hour. I did all this stuff that I'm doing right now. And then when it got to doing the Visual Studio stuff and everything else, we just all crapped out. Why? Visual Studio was not installed on the computers this morning. So that's why I'm recording this class again. Typically what I'll do is I'll record the class in the morning and you'll have it for the next day. Okay? We'll talk about everything else in a second. But I just wanted to mention that. So that's why I'm recording it again with you guys. Here we are in the first day of class, and you can see here that it says September 1st, but what this means is the week of September 1st, the first week, right? And notice that this is the stuff that we're doing. This is our delivery mode, and this is our in-class exercise. Every week when we get together, you'll be doing homework every single week, starting today, right? Now, typically, and this is why I said that stuff about not working, it would be due in day, like as in tonight at midnight. But because the first class had a bit of a kerfuffle, we had some technomancy going on from IT that just didn't work. Their magic just didn't happen. And I say that in the most, kind of nice way. Well, that means I'm going to give you guys an extension until Monday, right? This is the first time. The extensions aren't normally going to happen unless it's on me. If it's on me and this one's on me, then I got to give you guys an extension because I couldn't complete the lesson this morning with the first class. Now I think we can complete the lesson, and we'll see how it goes, okay? If we cannot, forgive me. It's not me, it's IT. I've been working with IT, and our computers are locked down, and that's the reason why I highly recommend, when I'm talking about this in a second, you need your own computer at some point, okay? This course is a hybrid course, right? So notice that the delivery mode is in person, and then week 4 we become remote, which means you need to be able to follow along and have your tools ready somewhere else. Now, I'm going to offer you this. I will be physically in person in here, even though we're in a remote week. So if you're someone who learns better in person, come in. I'll be here. However, if you want to be remote and you prefer being remote, stay home. But then you need a machine that you're going to run everything with, okay? That's the important part. So keep that in mind. That's our project, our way. Go ahead. And so remote means that we're going to use Zoom. I'm not going to use Discord's lecture hall. I find that Zoom is a little bit more control. And then I'll get you guys to set all that up when the time comes, if you choose to do that. But if you want to, and if you want to be physically in person, which I highly recommend, then come in. Even so, I do recommend you get your own machine when you can. Okay, I know that gaming machines are expensive. Okay, but you're going to need one anyway because next semester you're going to do Unreal Engine. This semester you're going to do Unity. So you need something that can run some of that stuff, right? So who does not have a machine? Right, I expected everyone to have one. Who has only a desktop at home? This is okay. This is okay. You can use a desktop at home. If you have a desktop at home that's pretty decent that you game on, I recommend remoting in. Don't get a laptop if you don't need to, right? Your friends might have laptops for your projects, and if you can remote in and do your work, that's all good, right? And you can use Chrome Remote Desktop to do that. It'll go right through the firewall, both at home and here, and you can remotely control your machine at home, and it'll be a pretty good experience with the entire time. The only thing that will be negative about that, you can't obviously use a gamepad or a controller to control your desktop at home from here. That's the negative, right? But in terms of doing Unity or Unreal or Visual Studio or whatever, you have complete control over your environment compared to being here where you're locked down, okay? Positives and negatives. So again, remote delivery, weeks 4, 6, 9, 11, and 13. However, I will be here those weeks. Now, there might be extraneous circumstances where I cannot be here, and neither can you. Weather happens in Barrie, okay, a bunch of times. So there might be a call for us to be at home for some reason. Or if there's some kind of weird power outage or whatever, these things can happen. So in that case, I'll give you advance kind of a notification, either through Discord if somehow Blackboard's not available, or through Blackboard, and that's where I'll connect with you. But for the most part, this is our schedule. So today it's kind of an intro day, but we do have an in-class exercise due. Normally it'll be due tonight, like I said, but it'll be due on Monday. And I'll update Blackboard. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but I will update Blackboard so it says Monday at midnight, okay? Okay, so that's the first thing. So the first half is really fundamentals. The second half is what we're doing is we're talking about functions and a little bit more advanced stuff. And then we're going to end off with an intro to object-oriented programming just at the end. There are 2 tests in this course, one in week 7 and one in the final week of class. Both are worth 20% of your grade. So the breakdown looks like this, right? Where we have 60% of your grade is in-class exercise weekly, which means every week individually, that means not sharing with anybody else, you'll be doing homework in this course to learn C# and the fundamentals of programming so that you can be a good citizen for your gaming project. And I mean that as in a good team member. You need to code, right? So if you're here and you just want to do art, sorry, but you're going to need to code. That's what you're here for. I know that Wallace met with you guys as well already, and for math, he's going to do pencil and paper. You need to know how to do math. And for those people who don't really like math or aren't really great at math, if you want to be a programmer, a game programmer, you need to love math. Love it. Embrace it. Don't resist it. And the same thing goes with C#. C# is your introduction into programming. But next year, we're going to do C++. Okay, so there's a lot to learn with C# and in languages in general. It's a journey. It doesn't take, it doesn't happen overnight. It may not click all the time, right away either. And even though I'm going to attempt to go as slow as possible, it may be too fast for you. It just might be, right? Don't give up. That's my advice to you. Keep going, persist. It'll make sense to you the more you do it, okay? Here's another great reason why I like everyone here in person. You can help each other, right? Helping each other, you're actually teaching the other person what to do. Hey, do this. And it goes through your brain in a different way than if you're just doing it yourself, right? You can't do that remote. Honestly, you really can't. I mean, sure, you could probably remote into their machine and do it, but that's clunky and weird in the middle of our class, right? So, but here you can help people out, which means we can speed along and get things done. And there's going to be some of you who are going to be like the lead software engineer in your team. Who are those people? I have some people that are going to be the lead software engineers. Good. So those people, maybe you're going to be the go-to person for coding style. Maybe you're going to be the go-to person for your GitHub repository for the team. There's a lot of things you can be the go-to person for, right? So I mentioned this in orientation for some of you that were there, right? You guys are students, and students, not regular students, you're game students. And game development is the hardest thing you can do. Harder than mobile development, harder than artificial intelligence, harder than anything else, web development. Why? Because it includes a lot of those same things in ours, in our program, as well as it has to be fun. That's the challenge, the trick, if you will. Right? So what's fun for you isn't fun for me necessarily, and so on. And making a game that's great is really, really hard. The other thing, you met with Christine yesterday, yeah? About your project? Tuesday, even better, all right? So you met with Christine on Tuesday. That's awesome. And she talked about your project. You formed teams, correct? Right? And why are you making your game? You're making it for Level Up. You're making it for Rise. Right? You have a small 5-minute game that you're going to make, a little, a perfect corner, a vertical slice that you're going to create. That's going to be awesome. And you're going to decide the kind of 2D game that you're going to make. The course that I'm going to do with you this semester, this fundamental course, is going to feed into the Unity course that you're going to do with Joss and other people, so that you can put together your 2D game, not now, but for April of 2026. Okay, so I know it sounds like a long way away. Like you've got 28 weeks to put together your game, more or less. It's not that long. It goes in a flash. And then you're going to realize how many things you have to fix between now and then. So that is how we're going to evaluate you. Questions around this, the schedule and the evaluation. By the way, you can find this all online on Blackboard if you accept the Integrity Pledge. If you don't accept the Integrity Pledge, you will not be able to see any of the content. And like I said earlier, the Integrity Pledge basically says, I will not cheat. Stuff that you need for in-class exercises and for your tests. 2 things: a YouTube link that's unlisted, which means you need a Gmail account, which means you also need to have a channel, a YouTube channel, right? That you're going to be recording your videos. Some of you don't have this. I have about 2,000 videos or more that I've recorded on my channels over the years, right? And the reason for this is because I've been a part-time professor and then finally a full-time professor here at Georgian. And I'm here for you this semester as well as previous semesters. One thing about us, myself, Joss, Connor, you're going to meet him soon as well if you haven't met him already. Even Christine and Wallace, we're all classically trained on how to, kind of do stuff with game dev. We all went to university for that, in addition to everything else we did in our life. So you're getting people who are trained to do this stuff. It's not like we're off the street and we've done it by hand or like we did it on our own. The School of Hard Knocks. It's not like that at all. So why am I telling you this? Because when you make your YouTube link, right, I wanted you to keep it as professional as possible. It's going to be unlisted. And one of the questions I got asked earlier today was like, why do we need to make videos, right? You're going to demonstrate and discuss your in-class exercise with me every single week. It's almost like a little oral exam. I want to understand what you know. Typically what I do, other than this week because of our kerfuffle this morning, I usually try and mark your stuff within a couple days. All right, that's what I kind of do. I get your stuff in, your in-class exercise, and then over a day or two, I mark everything, and then you have your mark for the following week, and I give you feedback. So you need a YouTube link because you're going to explain everything, and you also need a GitHub link. Without those two things, you get 0. Okay? Now remember what I said earlier. If you go back, I only mark the best 10 out of 12. So let's suppose you can't make it to class one day. You have a work thing, something happened in your life, whatever, you're sick or something like that. Then I only mark the best 10 out of 12. There's still a chance for you to get 100%, even if you miss 2. I still recommend, I usually publish my videos on Saturday, so not in day, not today, but the next day after everything is due. Why? I want you to come to class. I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I used to publish videos like in day, the same time, like in the same hour, and what that did was no one came to class because they're like, Tom makes the videos, I can just watch them from home. Who cares, right? And unfortunately, watching them from home means you're not engaging. And in this particular program, because it's so important for you to make friends here in this class, connect with your peers and all that stuff, and really work with your team, we can't do it that way. So that's why I kind of push it off till Saturday. So why is it going to help you? How can the video help you if it's posted after the due date? Because what if you miss something? What if you may need it as an example for more details for your test? Because your tests are worth 20% of your final grade, and you may want to review stuff, and in the video is perfect review, right? So that's why it's how it's done that way. So back to this. So you're making your YouTube link or your YouTube video, and I'm going to watch it, and then the next thing is your GitHub link. Now, who has a GitHub account? So some people do. That's awesome. But for those people who don't, we're going to create that today in another minute or so. And what I want you guys to do with that is you're going to create a repository for me every week that you're going to share with me and add me as a collaborator. And then you're going to give me a link to your GitHub link for that repository and your unlisted, perfectly working YouTube video that's only about 3 minutes long. Okay? That's the requirements for for your in-class exercise. Yes?
Can these accounts be created with personal emails?
Yes. I recommend it actually, because you want to take your GitHub with you when you're done. It's really your portfolio of all your work. And YouTube, of course, you want to keep on your own, right? So, yeah, please use your own stuff. OBS, I highly recommend OBS. So if I go to the next page here, Open Broadcaster Software, or OBS, is an open source software that you can download and use on your machine. It's really easy to configure. Lots of videos out there on YouTube on how to do it, right? So please, if you haven't used this before, it's a way of recording your screen. So I want you to record your screen and your voice and upload that to YouTube. In using Open Broadcast or OBS, you can actually do it at the same time, right? Like I'm doing right now. Like right now, I'm actually broadcasting, but I'm also pushing it up to YouTube at the same time. It's a one and done, right? So you don't have to do like two things. I do not expect you guys to do any editing, okay? However, I know that some people love to do those kinds of things. Maybe you're artistic, maybe you want to add music, maybe you want to play a song, I don't know. People did a lot of stuff for me over the last couple of years, right? And if it's fun for you, because it's less boring, do it. But I don't need it. The minimum is, I want to see your screen, I want to hear your voice, and I want to see a title card, which I'm going to tell you in a second, right? So you put it up, and then once you have your working video link, it must be unlisted. Please do not make it private. You're not sharing passwords with me all the time. That's terrible. And unlisted, what I want you to do is you need to test it. So go into an incognito window after you make your video, test it out to make sure it works. Because if you can't see it, I can't see it. And if I can't see it, you get 0. No exceptions. Don't give me an MP4 file, even if it's your video, I will not mark it. You'll get 0. I want YouTube. Okay, thank you. Next, your video requirements. A title card. Now, some people said, I've never made a title card before. What does this mean, Tom? You can make it with a PowerPoint slide like this. So take one PowerPoint slide, put an image of you, and put your full name, your student ID, your course code, your course name, and your assignment information. And basically what you do is this. You use it at the beginning of your video. So it's just in the background, right? You're recording your screen, and you say, hi, my name is, in my case, hi, my name is Tom, and this is my video for in-class exercise 1. Next slide, or go to your app and show me your stuff. It's only a title card, so I know who made this video, right, later on. You need to demonstrate your app's functionality. When I say app, I mean it's a small little application you're going to make in the first half of a semester, and in the second half, we're going to be continuously building an app together in Windows Forms, for the last 6 weeks of class. And so you're going to demonstrate the functionality that I ask you to add to your app every week. And that may include some information, like what you learned, or what you built, or something that you did. There's always going to be a we do and then a you do section on in-class exercises. So it's not just going to be a follow along. Okay? It's not like monkey see, monkey do, except for this week. Because this week I have to give you my videos because last class messed up. Okay? But typically what it is, we do together and then you do by yourself. I kind of give you a challenge, and then that's the extra marks that you have to do. Usually it's 2 to 3 marks. If your in-class exercises are each worth 6% of your final grade, then it could be up to 3% of your final grade or more for each of your in-class exercises that you do on your own, which is like basically looking at it and going, I got to think. Okay? I need to see your screen. Okay, so if your screen is not visible or is blurry or the resolution is low in your video, you get 0. Okay, if I can't hear you in the video, or if you use some kind of weird robotic voice, not your own, 0. Okay, it's got to be your voice that I'm hearing, not someone else's voice. And again, please do not read your code like it says here. I mean, I know the code. It's not that I want you to discuss. I want you to tell me what you know. If there's something that you figured out, something that you added or a feature that that you made work, you can say, here, I made this feature work. You can, here's my code, and now move on. You don't have to read it because I can see it in the video, right? Like a snapshot. Again, your video should be no more than 5 minutes for today and for this week, and for the following weeks, most likely, 5 minutes is going to be plenty of time. However, next year, in 2026, when we're together, and when we do Unreal Engine together and a bunch of stuff like that, what you're going to see is that 5 minutes is very challenging, trying to get everything in, because you're using a game engine to do stuff with me, right? So it's tough to do it in 5 minutes. So we may extend that a little bit. Even if you go beyond 5 minutes, I'm going to do it in squirrel time anyway. I'm going to go like twice as fast, and I'm going to look for certain things in your video that I'm looking for personally, and I'm going to go through it. Now, if you've got music and stuff, I may slow it down because, again, it's just a little better and less boring than looking at 60, that's right, 60 of the same thing over and over again when I'm marking, right? So it can make it more interesting. But again, please, if it's going to take a lot of time for you and all that kind of stuff, no editing is required. Okay. GitHub. So for those people who have GitHub, you basically create a repository online, and then it must be accessible for me. If you give me a link and it's not accessible, 0. That means you have to add me as a collaborator. And I'm going to talk about how to do that today. Okay? One thing that has to be here that's very clear is that everything that we do in this class is written by you. That means no AI. Okay? So no ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Copilot integrated into your Visual Studio or anything like that is acceptable, and must not be involved in any way in the creation of your stuff, which means you cannot, quote unquote, get an idea of how this works by looking at ChatGPT or whatever. Okay, you can't do that. You can't debug with ChatGPT and say, God damn it, I don't know how to do this. I wonder what ChatGPT is going to say. Avoid it, all right? And you might say, wait, in this complex, landscape of AI and how it is groundbreaking and really disruptive to the education, sector. Yes, one day, if we can dream, right? Maybe AI can do everything for you. All you have to basically say is, here's my website or my app or whatever, my game, and I want you to add this feature. And AI can give you a, kind of a drop-in replacement for you coding. And maybe what we'll be doing here in this course is some kind of prompt engineering or something else. But to quote Silo, that day is not this day, all right? This day, you are not using AI whatsoever. right? And especially since you're learning fundamentals, and I talked about this at the orientation, but I want to re-emphasize this today. If you think that you're worried that it might be generative AI, it probably is. And if you have a question about it, send me a DM or connect with me through email and ask me the question. Don't go ahead and assume that I'm going to accept it, because I'll tell you right now, last semester, and I kind of said this to the morning class as well, I was teaching Android, right, to a group of students. There's 60 of them, just like you guys, across 2 sections. And 40 of them decided to use AI, even though I told them this, even though they filled out the integrity pledge, and I took every one of them to task, 40 of them. I had 40 meetings for the first time. 10 of those students got ejected from the course, and 3 of them got, kind of asked to leave the college. All right, so I'm just letting you know, this is a real serious thing, and Georgian College takes academic integrity seriously, and so do I. I don't want to be a hard ass. It's not about that. It's about you guys learning the fundamentals. You can't, like I said earlier in orientation, I want you to learn to turn a screwdriver before you use a power tool, right? And yes, I use AI, absolutely, but it's a force multiplier for me. I can code 5 times faster. But for you, if you're learning for the first time, it's like garbage in, garbage out. I'm sorry to say that. Vibe coding might be a thing. Maybe you can pull some stuff off, but really it's 0 times anything is still 0, right? So learn first, and then in certain places, if your instructor says so, you can go ahead and use AI, okay? But for me in my class, because it's fundamentals, 0 AI. Turn it off in your Visual Studio, all right? Because it does exist there. Questions around this or comments? Yes?
Will you be going over how to turn off the AI in Visual Studio?
Sure. GitHub Copilot. Just don't enable it, disable it. However, I want to say something else, that there are great tools for Visual Studio like ReSharper, which I'm going to talk about right now. Let's talk about ReSharper. So if you go to ReSharper, if you look up ReSharper, the people who make ReSharper are JetBrains. And JetBrains is a lovely company. They make Android Studio. They also developed the Kotlin language for Android development. And there's a big thing around that because originally Java was used for kind of creating Android. And then Oracle bought Java. It used to be open source. And then Google said, screw you, Oracle. We want another language. And they went to JetBrains. They created a whole other language, which is actually pretty good. What you can do here is you can sign up as a student, right? There is a student account that you can get. And even though this is proprietary, paid for, you can download this extension in Visual Studio, and what it will do for you is code completion. Code completion is not AI, it's code completion. It helps you complete lines of your code because there's a lot that you're going to tap into. You're going to tap into millions of lines of code. You can't possibly remember everything, and it's going to be good for C# and C++ when you do Unreal Engine. So please sign up for JetBrains education today. And it also comes out with, they have some great developer tools. I don't work for JetBrains. I don't get anything for saying this stuff. But they have some great developer tools. C-Line is a really great alternative to C++ for C++ development. Again, you may not use it here in our course, but they have it. And they have both ReSharper C++ and ReSharper as part of the ReSharper Ultimate package. 100% recommend it. I think it's a great little tool, and it'll help you code better. And it's not cheating. Okay, just letting you know. So that is definitely a tool for you. I also want to look at this point, let's go to our Blackboard. Again, in order for you to see everything, you must fill out the course academic integrity pledge. If you don't, it's a 1 question, true, false, or yes, no. And if you, basically what it's basically saying is I'm not going to cheat. Also what it's telling you there is you can appeal a grade up to 5 business days after it's marked and I give it to you, like if you disagree somehow. After that, it's the grade. And you cannot appeal your course at all, right? Because I've graded you the entire time. How can you appeal your course mark? Because, your course is made up of your grades. So that's how it goes. And that's actually our academic policy. The other thing that I have here is when it comes to, if we ever did any assignments together, like if there was ever a due date or whatever for extensions, there'd be a penalty for each day. In our case, because we're doing in-class exercises that are due in week, there's 0 extensions. 0, just letting you know, right? So typically, unless it's on me, like this week is on me because things didn't work out, no extensions, unless you have, of course, an accommodation or some health issue or something that's really serious. On that, if you need to contact me, Discord is good. You can reach out to me and DM me through Discord. You can also make office hours with me. If you use this tool for office hours, it will look in my schedule and slot you in automatically where there's a space for 30 minutes. I don't have to respond. I automatically slot you in. And then on Teams or via Teams, we meet and I can help you out. Please use me, right? If you're going to have questions. Now, it won't help you in day. It won't help you today, but it might help you if you're still stuck on a concept or something else like that before the next class. So typically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, I have space. Thursdays and Fridays, not available, okay? Because I'm teaching. On that, I am full-time faculty and I am physically here Thursdays and Fridays, but I'm also available throughout the week if you need me. And usually like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., even through Discord, I may answer late. It really depends on family obligations and whatever else I'm doing. I am a dad. I have a brand new Doberman puppy, which is killing me. No, it's not cute. It's killing me, right? And it's because it's, a lot of work to have a puppy. So, there's things that I do in my life, right? Just like anyone else. So if I can answer, I will after hours. If I can't, I see your message. I see you. I do see you. I just can't answer right away, okay? So bear with me. But typically, email, I will respond to within about 2 business days. I want you to use Discord. If it's a quick message you want me to answer, I can probably answer within band, within about an hour or 2 hours or whatever it's going to be. That's pretty a good response. But if it's official, like something about the course or a complaint, you need an extension because of health reasons, Georgian College email, please. It must be going through official channels. Please don't put it through Discord, okay? I will not respond to mail through Blackboard. Blackboard mail, I don't use those messaging. It's too many, like Discord, Blackboard mail, like how many am I going to have? So we don't do that typically. So only through Discord and email, please. So that's office hours. The outline and syllabus is here. Zoom link is there for your hybrid weeks, right? So that's the only time that we're going to do the remote weeks. We're going to use the Zoom link right there. And in here, if you look through, typically we'll have an introduction, objectives, a list of things that are due. For example, this value 6%, it says due Friday, September 5th, 2025 at midnight. Clearly that's going to change because of my kerfuffle this week. It is what it is. And I say mine because I'm the engineer of all the IT stuff for this program. So that means like I work with IT to make it work, and well, IT didn't do it for this room. For some reason, I assumed that they were going to do it. Bad me. Assume is a bad word. And I should have followed through with them, and I didn't, because they said, oh yeah, Visual Studio, no problem. We can get that installed for you, and no issues. And clearly they couldn't this morning, right? So I had to escalate to them. They did install Visual Studio for the machines in front of you. I don't know what it's going to be like today. Hopefully it'll work. Course documents. So you're going to see the PowerPoint that I'm showing you here every single week is going to be here. You're going to have a couple of files. One of them that I want to highlight here is my VS config file. Okay, this VS config file is super important if you're going to be installing Visual Studio on the machine at home or your laptop. When you download it, I'm just going to go here and download it to show you. You're going to see that, I don't know if it's hard to see, but it says there's nothing there, right? So you want to rename this file so it's .vsconfig. That's what it should basically say. This should basically be the .vsconfig file. If it's named anything else, it won't work. And when we come to installing and doing a tour of Visual Studio, I'll show you where you can use it. Why do I recommend it? You don't have to manually choose all the workloads, payloads, and installation criteria for your Visual Studio application. It's a lot. Even with mine, it's going to be 40 gigabytes of space that's going to take up. It takes time to install. If you have your laptop here today, you can do it, but please use your desktop in front of you, okay? Because you just will not have the same, most likely, you will not have the same installation for Visual Studio that you're going to require when we're doing our demo, okay? There's also two other files here, a get attributes file and a get ignore file. These are specific for Visual Studio. And when we do command line get, which is what we're going to be talking about today, you can use these and you can use them in the future. I'll show you ways of generating these as well, but you're going to need a get attributes and a get ignore file on as we move forward in the course and in the program. The Zoom link is here again, and eventually I will post your videos here, starting with this one that I'm making right now, and any other files that I need will be here inside the content area. Okay, that's what it'll be. Questions around Blackboard, meeting times, all that stuff. One more thing, excuse me. In-class exercise 1. There are details on what I'm looking for here. And here what you're going to see is a we do section and a you do section. Like I said, normally that you do section is you to do. But in this case, it's we're going to do it together because things broke this morning. Okay? But notice there's a couple things at the bottom. Every in-class exercise is going to be structured just like this. So you'll see instructions for you, for us, for you, and some mandatory requirements at the bottom. Okay? So every single time. Please follow these requirements, right? There are things that I'm looking for. You can add additional things on top of this, but these are the minimum things that you need to get 6% of your final grade every time. Okay? So that is the structure of our course and our program. Back to this. So before I continue, any questions? Yes, in the back. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to work is the answer. Just press OK and restart your computer and hope for the best. Yes, over there. Yours won't turn on.
Yeah, the computer won't turn on.
You check power?
I press the power, I turn it off and back on.
The monitor?
Yeah, I think it's the monitor that's the issue.
Try it. Try turning it on and off and see if that's the problem.
It's not turning on. I've been trying to turn it on as you're talking.
Oh,
It's not.
I'm so sorry about that. Maybe you want to move to another computer if there's one available. There might be one over there. Yeah, I would recommend you move. Next, yes.
You were talking about the config file to configure Visual Code.
Visual Studio, yeah, yeah.
Is it possibly going to get changed back to the way it originally was because these computers do reset?
They don't reset.
No?
They don't reset. No, these computers are made the way I want them, right? So when everything is installed properly, they'll have my configuration file. I've been working with IT on it. So they will have this exact configuration that I'm giving you, right? The machine in front of you, I'm just, I'm sorry, I'm boiling inside, should work exactly as I wanted it to work, right? It just didn't today. So, we just have to roll with it and the show must go on, as they say, right? So that's what we're doing. Anyone else? Questions? All right, so let's, yes.
Just for clarification, the we do section we're doing that's the stuff we do in class. The you do, we do at home, and then once all that's done, we record a video.
You will be given time to do the you do in class, but the recording the video is something you're going to have to probably do outside of class. Because doing all the videos in here, there's no mic here, and there's no camera if you needed a camera here as well. So here's what you could do. Let's suppose you don't have a machine, and you're never going to get a machine because you just don't have the money. People are in that situation. I understand. You guys are students, right? Students aren't regular people, like I said, right? So buy yourself a mic or a headset. You can record everything you want here and OBS is available to download. And let me talk about those apps that you can grab. So here on our computer, which is the one good thing, is we do have something called Apps Anywhere. So if you type in one word, Apps Anywhere, you're going to see that there's Apps Anywhere, Georgian College. You can also access this from your personal machine, by the way. These apps are available to you through your personal machine. So let's suppose I'm looking for a piece of software like OBS. I can simply just search for it, and if it's available, here it is, I can launch it. Okay? Now, what this also does is this is our limitation. This kind of limits what we can see in this lab, OBS. This is one thing you can do. The other thing you can do for apps that you want to install in class, because you have no admin rights, is anything on the Microsoft Store, I believe. So if you go to Store, type in Store, then anything that's in the store, you should be able to install, you know, kind of on the machine in front of you, because it's an app that is sanctioned by Microsoft. Okay, so anything pretty much in the store or apps anywhere you can use. So OBS is part of Apps Anywhere's package. You can install it, configure it, and then if you have a mic, you could record everything after class, because we don't have anything after this class. You guys can sit here and record, and it's a one and done. Your homework is over, right? And it should be that simple. It's not like homework shouldn't take you more than an hour to do, max, right? And we're going to do part of that hour in class, and there might be the recording part and some other things you got to fix up later on, okay? So try and get it done. Do one and done, and it saves you some time, and you won't have to work on the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, so you said that we can download anything through the Windows Store, correct?
For the most part.
Yeah, so,
Some things will not work.
yeah, Photoshop does not work.
Yeah. But there's some things that will not work because they're blocked, but most things on the apps on the Microsoft Store will work. Like, for example, if you want a snapshot program that's really great, you know, I recommend ShareX, right? It's a great little way of giving a snapshot of your window or whatever. If you want to use 7-Zip, 7-Zip is available through the store, and so is Blender if you want to use Blender, right? So all that stuff is available through the store, also in Apps Anywhere. So yeah, so you could do recordings here. From a configuration perspective, I'm just going to look at the infinite mirror here as we're recording live. You really need these three things: some kind of video capture device, which is your cam, right? The display capture, which is your recording your screen, and audio input capture, which is your mic. So as long as you have those three things, you can position these things anywhere you want, right? So it's really that easy. You can connect your OBS to right to YouTube. There is a connector. And then once you do that, it's like literally a one and done. You can just broadcast and save live on YouTube, and then you give me the unlisted link, and we're good to go. No editing required, okay? Any other questions around delivery, in-class exercises? Yes? Face? Sorry, your face? Only your, all I need is your title card, and the title card will have an image of you, a static image of you. If you want to record your face, like I'm doing right now, it's totally up to you, right? You don't have to do it. I mean, if it makes you happy, okay, right? Like you want to record your face, you want to be more professional, maybe you do some kind of streaming or on Twitch or something like that on your own, that's perfectly fine. And I don't want to cramp your style, whatever makes you happy. As long as you demonstrate your app to me and it's a good video, I'm good, okay? Please don't cut it off. There might be some times where I ask you to do something, and if some people, what they do is just show me their code, but they don't demonstrate stuff. I didn't get all the, that's not a complete video. Do what I've asked you to do in the video, and then you should be pretty good. All right, it's 12:43. I've talked for about 45 minutes. Let's take a 10-minute break, and when we come back, we'll start with Visual Studio and GitHub. Okay?